Hey guys, welcome to Maramara Des, which is Japanese for a long way to go. My name is Wyatt and I'm a missionary heading to Japan. Before we begin, I want to take a second just to remind you guys to like and subscribe. That helps the channel a lot, and helping the channel helps the mission. So the biggest threat to any missionary in the field is not persecution or spiritual warfare, but rather themselves. Going into the mission field is like throwing Miracle-Gro onto all of your problems. And that's really relevant to me because, well, I'm not perfect. In Matthew 7:5, Jesus tells us, "First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye." So trying to develop a healthy mind has been a major focus for me for the entire mobilization process. Over the past year, I've read about 20 different books addressing various aspects of mental health. And so I've compiled a list of the top 5 books I've read that have been most helpful for me over the past year. Starting at number 5 is I'll Start Again Monday by Lysa, TerKeurst. So this is a book about dieting and particularly resisting temptation when it comes to food. It's definitely not my biggest problem. However, physical health and mental health go hand in hand, and so it's something that I think about a lot. So this book is a little bit different from the others because it's not written by a doctor, and I tried to make sure that all of the books that I was reading are written by doctors. Additionally, the author kind of mixes spiritual principles and mental health principles into the book at the same time, which is something I try to avoid as I think it makes the discussion a little complex and confusing. However, after I read the book, I lost 40 pounds. So, you can't argue with those results. Moving on. Number 4 is the Anger Workbook, written by Dr. Les Carter and Dr. Frank Minirth. Anger is something I've struggled with my entire life, and so I've read a number of books on the subject, and this one is by far the best. A lot of books on anger discuss how anger is a fear response, and it's a way that we try to express control over our surroundings, which is something that I think is true, and I think it's a valid analysis. However, this book goes one step further and discusses how different kinds of fear prompt different kinds of anger responses. And that kind of nuance really helped me with my self-awareness, which has been a really useful tool in fighting this problem. So altogether, really great book. Number 3 is a book called Your Brain's Not Broken by Dr. Tamara Rosier. This is a book about ADHD and managing ADHD, and as someone with ADHD, that's really important for me. One of the reasons I really like this book is not only does the author discuss a lot of the science behind ADHD, but also she talks about her personal experience as somebody with ADHD, as well as her experience as a mom raising children with ADHD. And so I think altogether she presents a really holistic, complete picture of the mental health condition. So next up, in the number 2 spot, we have a book called The Mindful Catholic by Dr. Gregory Bottaro. So you might be asking, Wyatt, what is this Catholic book doing on your good Protestant YouTube channel? Well, before I answer that question, let me answer another one first. What is mindfulness? Basically, mindfulness is just a type of meditation that makes you more aware of your surroundings and, more importantly, more aware of your feelings. The problem is that mindfulness is so effective of a tool that it has developed sort of a cult following, and so has drawn a lot of New Age spirituality to the practice. Unfortunately, I think this makes it a little, distasteful for a lot of Protestant Christians, and so there's not a lot of books written by Protestant Christians on this subject. Luckily, Dr. Bottaro's work is very, very good. Not only does he discuss mindfulness without bringing in kind of the New Age spirituality that has surrounded it, but also he talks about the science behind the practice and clarifies why this kind of meditation works in a very healthy way. There is a healthy dose of Catholic spirituality in the book. However, those parts are not essential to his discussion on mindfulness. And so if that would be a problem for you, it's something you could easily skip past. Finally, my number 1 favorite book that I've read on this huge mental health journey of mine is Reinventing Your Life by Dr. Jeffrey Young and Dr. Janet Klosko. The reason why I like this book so much is that most mental health books do this thing where they help you identify a problem, and then they provide a solution to address that problem. However, shortly after this, they will then tell you that your problem is rooted deeper than their particular solution can solve, essentially calling you to go read another book and seek more counseling. Reinventing your life doesn't do this. Instead, it goes all the way to the bottom of why you are the way you are. It discusses how the way you were raised impacts your emotional makeup, and then it discusses how your emotional makeup impacts the patterns we live out throughout our lives. This is great because once you know those things, you don't need to do any more investigation. Instead, you can just focus on getting healthier and reshaping who you are as a person. So yeah, thanks you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful to you. We still got a long way to go, so stay tuned. There's more videos to come. Looking forward to seeing you next time.